All right, this is video 3, step 3 in your 3D modeling project. So far, you know how to log into Tinkercad, you know how to do the basics of placing, rotating, resizing objects in Tinkercad. And you also practice beginning to actually design real objects. Today, you are going to be looking specifically at the dimensions of an object and using scale factor to change those into a similar shape. Okay, all of your instructions and work are in this Google Doc that's posted in Google Classroom. And what you'll see is I've listed out all the steps, including the ones that we've already done. You already learned the basics. You already began designing. And the new step 3 is going to be down here where it says scaling dimensions. Your job will be to make a copy of this character right here, who I call Mugwump. He's sort of funny looking. He's pretty boxy. His head is a trapezoid, but you're going to be looking at all of his individual dimensions and using a scale factor to resize him. To begin, you need to make a copy of the Mugwump design in Tinkercad. To do that, click this link right here, and it will open up in this web page over in Tinkercad. First, make sure that you are logged in. Up in the top right corner, make sure that it has your name. If not, go ahead and sign in with Google just like before. Then you'll see this big blue box right here that will say copy and tinker. Mine doesn't say copy because it's my design. I'm allowed to edit it, but you'll need to actually make a copy of it. And once you click that big blue button, it will open up into our 3D modeling tools where you'll actually see the design of the funny looking Mugwump. So remember these shaded boxes, these are holes. So when we actually 3D print it, there'll be holes where his eyes and nose and mouth are. Let's take a look at the Google Doc where I have the directions for you. The first thing that I need you to do is figure out and label all the important dimensions of Mug. So looking at this diagram right here, I've labeled those important dimensions for you, and I've labeled them as A through H, okay? So for example, dimension A, right here, A, is from the top of his trapezoidal head to the base of his trapezoidal head. In Tinkercad, what you might have already found is if you are clicking on an object, right, like I want to know how tall this trapezoid is, if I click on that trapezoid, I see these white boxes showing up in the corner. If I hover over them and if I click on them, I see these numbers are showing up on the sides. Those are the dimensions in millimeters of how big that object is. So if I want to know dimension A from the top of his trapezoid to the base, then I can click on there and I see that is 120 millimeters. I'm going to go ahead and fill that in right here. Dimension B goes from one side to the other, the base of his trapezoid. So back in Tinkercad, if I click on that corner, then I can see, oh, the dimension labeled right here is 160. You'll need to find all the dimensions for C through H, following this diagram and clicking around to figure out what the numbers are in Tinkercad. Your next step will be to shrink all of Mug's dimensions down. And this is really important for our 3D printer. At school, we don't have a big, huge one. Ours only prints a space of 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters, which is 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters. So you'll need to use a scale factor of 1/2 to scale Mug down so that he could actually fit on the 3D printer. To do that, we're going to look at what his original dimensions were and then multiply that by a scale factor of 1/2. So if in the original Mug, his height was 120 millimeters, 120 times 1/2 is going to give him a new height of only 60 millimeters. Same thing as his base, side length B was 160. Scaled down is now going to be only 80 millimeters. You're going to need to change all of the dimensions of the original Mug, scaled down by a scale factor of 1/2. Your last step will be to actually change Mug using the dimensions that you calculate. So back in Tinkercad, if you click on these dimensions, I can type in what I want to change this length to be. I want it to be a height of 60 and a width of 80. There is the size of his new head. You'll need to change all the dimensions and make him look similar.